Welcome back for part 3 of the 1966 Chevy Suburban. Thanks for hanging out with me. Let's get right into it. While we're waiting for our paint to dry, let's go ahead and get some decals on the dash here. Looks like we have the dash engages, the heater controls, as well as the radio. We have our hot water, as hot as you can take it to the touch. And we go ahead and put in the decal, let it sit 15 to 20 seconds, slide it off, slide it on, squeegee it out, and press it on with the Q-tip. Now they do sell some solution and solvent to help set your decals. I personally do not use it. I've never used it, so I can't speak to how good it is. But I know a lot of people use it, especially when doing large decals on the bodies, to really help it fit around the grooves and curves and contours of the body. I typically stick to just really nice paint jobs on my body and no decals. If I'm going to paint any stripes or anything, I paint them. I don't use the decals. But maybe in some future videos I'll put on some bigger decals on the body and get some set solution and see how that works. So let's go ahead and get our decal out of the water here. So these are what are called water set decals. And I like to put a little bit, just a drop of the dish solution in there. Really helps the decal slide around a little bit so you can get it into place. Alright, it's looking really nice. And we'll just ever so slightly dab it with the Q-tip. And when it squeegees the water out, the Q-tip just kind of sucks up the water. Really helps set the decal into place. And there's also a clear piece of plastic that goes over this gauge panel here, just like there would be in the real thing. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with that. So now just moving from left to right, we'll get the heater controls. And I went ahead and I took some black paint and just kind of highlighted a little bit where the decals go, so that from painting I didn't lose being able to see some of the markers of where the decal should go. So in case you're seeing, why is there black and now you're putting a decal over it, that's the reason why. I didn't want to lose my placing of where the decal was going to go. Last thing you want to do is put a decal on upside down and realize it too late, and now your whole model is going to look funny. Or maybe you'll be the only one who notices. Hey, it's your model. You build it how you want. Wherever you want your decal to go and how you want it to go is how it goes. Alright, let's get these heater controls put in here. And I've kind of found the smaller the decal, almost the easier it is. With the larger decals, if you're not careful, they'll fold over on each other, and yep, agony city for that. Alright, heater controls are good. Let's go ahead and put the radio in. Looks like one of these twisty knob style radios. I've had a couple of them in some of my older cars. Not like the digital ones of today where you just dial in the channel. These you actually had to turn it, fine tune it in. All the things that we take for granted or forget about. Like texting on the first cell phones, you had to hit 5 like 3 times to get an L or something like that. And now you got full-blown computer keyboards on our phones. Alright, let's make sure we don't put the radio on upside down, because I don't know how we would tune in any channels that way. Alright. This is where that dish soap really comes in handy. Being able to fine tune it, pun intended, into place here. Alright, got our radio into place. Kind of dab one last time. Our gauge panel, heater controls. And our radio. That's looking nice. Okay, so while we're at it, we're going to go ahead and install the clear plastic here that goes over the dash. So for that, we're going to get our Testors clear parts cement, because I don't want any off-gassing getting onto our glass, and then we can't see the nice decal that we just took the time to put on. So that will kind of be counterproductive to what we're trying to do here. Just a thin coat. There we go. I don't use this glue very often, only for our clear parts. Although I suppose you could use it for everything. I just choose not to. Get our clear piece here. And there we go. Just gonna let that sit, let everything set permanently, and then we'll get to masking and painting the rest of the body. Alright, so let's go ahead and start getting this body masked for our two-tone paint job. For that, I'll be using the Tamiya masking tape. Prior to using the Tamiya masking tape, I just used to use blue painter tape. And I still do for covering much larger areas, but for my fine, crisp line, I like to use the Tamiya masking tape. We're going to be sticking true pretty much to the picture of the box. We're going to be having our line right below the windows all the way around, so the roof will be white, the window pillars will all be white. Our rear door, so this does get glued on later, but I'm going to set it into place so that when I mask, it's in place, so my line will actually line up without having to measure anything, so it'll be taped on for this procedure. So let's go ahead and get this masked up. Alright, let's send this guy to the spray booth, which is outside. Now that our paint is nice and dry, we can go ahead and lay down our clear coat. I usually like to do 2 to 3 dust coats again, and then 2 wet coats, or heavier coats. I tried something new on the Semi that I forgot to talk about. I use this when I make my puzzles, for clear coating my puzzles. It's a Kamar Varnish. It is a clear coat. It's a non-yellowing protection for oil, acrylic, and watercolors, and it's acid-free. I've never run into a problem with the other clear coats that I use, but this goes on a lot thicker, so you got to be careful not to put it on too thick or it will run. However, I've noticed less coats, it's way shinier, way thicker, and provides a lot better protection, and in my personal opinion, I think it looks a lot better. So, tell me what you think. Let's head back out to the spray booth. Let's go. Well, what are you waiting for? Meet me outside. Just want to dust it on. Alright everybody, that's going to wrap it up for part 3. Stay tuned for part 4, where part 4 is going to be all installation, and that'll be the last video in this video series. So stay tuned for part 4, where we actually put all the remaining pieces back together and see this thing come to life. We'll see you soon.